So a few months ago I built a camera slider. As you can see here, it's vibrating a whole lot and the picture really isn't all that steady. The other thing too is the piece that I'm working on seems to want to drift right off the edge. There it goes. Here's another good example of the image shaking really violently and it running right off the edge. These are two issues that I want to correct. I want to be able to keep what I'm filming in the shot and get rid of that vibration. So let's get started by getting this disassembled. We're going to take these ends off first and then pull that carriage off. Here I pulled the old mount off. It was just held on by a 1/4 inch bolt on the bottom. And then the new mount is going to be this vibration or anti-vibration mount that is actually for a drone. A couple carbon fiber pieces, and then there's some rubber spacers that go in between them. The rubber spacers cut down on the vibration quite a bit. I drilled 4 holes off camera for a Lazy Susan bearing. The Lazy Susan bearing is going to allow this to rotate. And then this little piece here that I'm mounting up is just a turnbuckle for a RC car. I drilled and tapped 4 bolt holes so that way I could mount the Lazy Susan to that slider. And then this is just a quick mount for the camera. And there we go. It looks to me like everything spins okay. So now I'm sketching up the arm that's going to articulate this around so that way I can keep the image in frame. Now I need to start working on the adjustments that's going to control how far this camera rotates when it's keeping the object in frame. I like to round all the edges off. It just seems to give it a lot softer feel as far as handling it and the finished look. Now this is going to be a slot that I cut into here, and with this slot I'll be able to adjust how far that camera rotates. These are some wing nuts and bolts that I got from a grill that I scrapped out. I figured they'd work pretty good for this project. So this is dry. I'm going to go ahead and sand it up and get all the corners rounded out. Just mixing up some 2-part epoxy, and I'm putting them on these oil light bushings. And I'm going to epoxy them in a hole that I bored in that little arm that I built.
Hours later.
So here you can see that it's a total fail. You can even hear the stepper just jumping. And that's missing steps. So it's extremely hard for it to even push. Now with a little bit of help it'll go ahead and go, but it won't stay moving. So this needs to be remedied. And I think that I can remedy it by maybe making the sliders a little bit farther apart. If I make them a little bit farther apart, it won't be trying to torque on that 1/2-inch rod. So I think that's where I'm at. I'm going to go ahead and just build a new one and see if that works. And I mean, why not? I have an extra turnbuckle, so let's try it. Let's make another one. This is what I'm thinking right here. Something shaped sort of like this.
Several days later.
Okay, so it's done, and it definitely moves a lot easier than the other one. The other one, it just seemed to me like it wanted to torque on that 1/2-inch rod rather than slide on it. And I think it was because where I was pushing was too far away from the rod. With this one, it's not nearly as far away, and my sliders are a little bit farther apart. So this little modification seemed to have done the trick. It's not catching anymore on that 1/2-inch steel rod, and it slides just fine. And as you can see here, I'm getting that parallax look where I'm keeping the object in frame, but I'm moving around it. Here's the exact same shot with a little bit of speed ramping done. So the anti-vibration mount seems to have helped considerably. There's still a little bit of vibration, but it seems to have helped. So if you like what you've seen, please subscribe, and we'll see you at the next video.